Welcome back to Wired-Tec. In our last deep dive, we saw how deep learning gave AI the power to understand our world. It could see, it could translate, it could even beat us at our most complex games. But it was always analyzing things that already existed. And that left us with a huge question. Could an AI ever go beyond just understanding and actually create something new?
Well, in November of 2022, the world got a very loud and clear answer. A company called OpenAI released a tool called ChatGPT, and it felt like it happened overnight. Suddenly, a powerful, creative AI was in the hands of millions of people. For so many of us, this was the moment AI stopped being a concept and became real. The game hadn't just changed, it was a whole new ballgame.
It really felt like it came out of nowhere, right? Just this explosion of progress that took everyone by surprise. But here's the thing, this revolution didn't actually start in 2022. The real story, the true origin, begins 5 years earlier with a single, incredibly important research paper that quietly changed everything. That's right, the fuse for the entire generative AI boom was lit on paper. Back in 2017, a team at Google Research published a paper with a kind of poetic title, "Attention is All You Need." Now, it might not have sounded like a world-changing headline, but this one document introduced the core architecture, the very blueprint for everything that was about to follow. So let's break down this pivotal moment. The who? A brilliant team of researchers at Google. The when? 2017. The what? A totally new neural network design they called the transformer. But the really important part here is the why. See, they built it to solve one of AI's oldest, most nagging problems, understanding context over long stretches of text. Before this, AI models read word by word by word. By the time they got to the end of a long paragraph, they'd pretty much forgotten how it started. So what was the secret sauce? How did the transformer work? Instead of reading in a straight line, it looks at whole chunks of text all at once, in parallel. And its big trick was something called an attention mechanism. This allowed the model to figure out how every single word relates to every other word in the text, no matter how far apart they are. This gave it this incredible, almost intuitive grasp of meaning and context.
To really get it, let's use an analogy. Imagine the old AIs were reading a book through a tiny pinhole, seeing only one word at a time. Sure, they see the words, but they totally lose the plot. The transformer, on the other hand, reads the whole page at once. It instantly sees how the first word connects to the last one, how a character mentioned in Chapter 1 is crucial to an event in Chapter 10. It gets the whole picture all at the same time. This breakthrough was exactly the engine that the next generation of AI had been waiting for. The transformer became the new blueprint. And one organization, OpenAI, was about to take that blueprint and build something on a scale nobody had ever seen before. And when I say scale, I mean truly mind-boggling scale. In 2020, OpenAI released GPT-3, a large language model built on that transformer architecture. The number you need to remember is 175 billion. That's the number of parameters, you can think of them as connections, it used to learn from a massive slice of the internet. The result was an AI that could write text that was shockingly human, answer really complex questions, and even write computer code. Just look at this timeline. It shows you how incredibly fast everything started moving. The foundational paper drops in 2017. Just 3 years later, bam, we get the incredibly powerful GPT-3. 2 years after that, ChatGPT puts it in everyone's hands and creates a global sensation. And by 2023, the even more capable GPT-4 is out. This wasn't a slow crawl. This was an absolute rocket ship of progress. But get this amazing new power wasn't just for words. The same core idea of understanding relationships in data to generate something totally new was about to take a huge creative leap into the visual world. AI was about to pick up a paintbrush. This was the magic of another OpenAI creation called DALL-E. You could just describe an image with text, a prompt as weird as, say, an astronaut riding a horse in a photorealistic style, and in just a few seconds, the AI would create a completely original, high-quality image from scratch. This was the proof. AI wasn't just an analyst anymore. It could now be an artist. So the arrival of these powerful language models like ChatGPT and image generators like DALL-E, this wasn't just another small step. This marked a fundamental shift in what we even thought artificial intelligence was. It was the dawn of a completely new era. This is the big takeaway, right here. For decades, AI was mostly analytical. Its job was to look at existing information, find patterns, and classify things. But now we have generative AI. It's capable of creating entirely new content, new text, new images, new ideas. It went from a tool that could only understand the world to a tool that could actually add to it. This generative explosion changed everything, for sure, but the evolution didn't stop with just creating content. The very next step was for AI to move beyond generating text and images and start taking action for us. Which brings us to our next big question. How did AI go from simply chatting with us to actively acting on our behalf, weaving itself into our jobs, our devices, and our daily lives? We are going to tackle that exact question in the next part of our series. If you found this explainer helpful, please do me a favor and hit that like button, and definitely subscribe to Wired-Tec so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for watching.